All right, so system's working. Okay. So no one gets a break. Is that it? Okay. All right. A lot of execution. I happen to live right here in Atlanta, and the location was the JW Marriott. Little did I know that there are three of them in a row. So I used to take the train and just get right out if I made the mistake of driving myself. Um, I'm delighted to be here. I have to apologize to you, however. I did not have the benefit of hearing the other presenters. Um, I just want you to know that as you evolve in your career, never accept the presenting position at the end of the day. Never do that. But in the sense of spirit, I do wish to bring a message to you here this evening. We're almost evening. I can cheat. My information is right here. I didn't get coached about how the arrangement was going to be. Um, Little do they know that my appliances do not create the magnification for me to see that. However, um, from a serious level of things, and I know that you are spending your time and you spent your money, and some to in the business community, I think those things tend to equal one another. But what I want to say to you is the message that I bring is a message that's associated with employee engagement, and employee engagement being one of the key factors that are fundamental to organizational transformation. And it is today one of the most challenging strategic efforts of communication leaders such as yourself that has ever faced when looking to create trust and success with their organization's transformation initiatives. We're currently facing that crisis. And so what I wish to bring to you is perhaps some actionable intelligence and some tools in order to um, for you to be successful in addressing those items. Again, as the image has come up on the screen, I offer that employee engagement is fundamental to organizational transformation. And even though I have a Dr. DR in front of my name, I do not bring the truth. I don't want to give you the impression that I have the truth. I don't have the truth. Oh, that's not true. I have one truth. Um, the truth that I have is that wet birds don't fly at night. Okay, let me repeat it. I want you to pay special attention. Wet birds don't fly at night, and that's one truth I have. I want to share with you quickly. I'm collecting information on another truth, and that is that pigeons have no life cycle. They're just grown. Every time I see them, they're adult pigeons. I never see little pigeons. So for those of you who want to converse with me later, if you see baby pigeons, I'd like for you to communicate with me. You'll see my email address. That's another data point I'm trying to collect information on. As far as transformation is concerned, let me say that I'm looking to offer this idea that employee engagement, um, am I supposed to be clicking or are you guys clicking? Hello? Someone needs to tell me, am I clicking or are you clicking? I'm clicking. And one of these is the clicker, the green one. I have two. Is that it? Oh, so there are two of them here. Oh, oh, okay, no, okay. All right, so let's start from the top. Today's session is aimed to aid in making members like yourselves more knowledgeable, capable, and influential leaders, offering the prospects of giving your employees agency. When I use the word agency, I'm talking about employee empowerment. And I know that in the corporate community, agency is generally something that the stockholders give to you in the corporation. But I'm suggesting that this issue of employee engagement is such that as leaders, we have the opportunity to become accelerants, start a fire. That particular idea about giving, this is the word of the day, by giving employees agency. And to that end, I have chosen science over religion. Okay, what I'm offering you is research, not beliefs. All right, and that's the value of me being here. Uh, the two items that are important as we have this conversation, and that is the discussion around change and transformation. Just for the purpose of definition, change refers to implementing a finite initiative or set of connected initiatives to make clear, measurable shifts on how specific aspects of business functions. For example, change initiatives are clear, well-defined, and they focus on changing policy or procedures or processes to achieve a particular goal. While transformation, on the other hand, is a larger concept. If change is about shifting something specific within the business, transformation is more about shifting the company as a whole. It is a process of reinventing the way the organization does business. That is, the culture, the way things are done. And then doing whatever it takes to ensure that that transformation, permeates everything that the company does. Change is concrete and defined. Uh, Transformation is more loosely defined and overarching. Today, I believe we are talking about the latter, transformation. So what does hybrid work have to do with this whole discussion? So as we're looking at the issue of transformation, as we're looking at this new hybrid workforce, um, from technology disruptors to the rise of remote work and the need for more flexibility, the workplace has changed. But the measure of what make a workplace great, a great organization, that has not changed. Whether you're working from home or in the office, the focus, I argue, should be on the employee. Therein lies the opportunity for agency. Let's rethink employee engagement for a moment. The point being is that it is care for employees and then position in employee engagement as a catalyst for improving your business outcomes. So I'm saying position employee engagement in that manner. And I would imagine that you haven't had this conversation before in terms of how employee engagement may well be put forward. So as we think about it, there's an opportunity today that we bring this concept of engagement from theoretical notion to a practical application and discover how to implement employee engagement in an organization at the employee level. That would be the takeaway. So let's talk about engagement as such in terms of as a construct. So engagement at a personal commitment to do something as promised. Engagement commits to performing their job, where an employee commits to performing their job while adhering to organization's mission, vision, values, purpose, strategy, and goal. Another way to think about engagement. But organizational engagement, an organization commits to getting the employee engaged to transform promise into reality. And that requires commitment. Now, I've come to understand that commitment is that ingredient that transforms promise into reality. Now, as I think about the level of commitment, not far from here is a urban renewal area, and there was a chicken and a pig walking over in that area, and the chicken says to the pig, "Hey, look at that shack over there. If we renovated it, it would make a nice ham and eggs joint." And then the pig says to the chicken, "It's a contribution for you, but it's a total commitment for me." That is the level that I'm arguing and advancing, that the organization would want to make that level of commitment to what? To employee engagement through the value and the practice of employee agency, employee empowerment. And the method by which we would do that is to give you bits of information to carry you through. Let's see, I'm clicking. Okay. So employee engagement happens at a couple of levels. It happens at the work level, where the employee individual commitment is performed in performing their duties, while at the organizational level, the employee's relationship with the organization. So we have those two levels that we want to appreciate here. Now, for the purpose of discussing this, Gallup put forth information. Gallup defined employee engagement as the involvement and enthusiasm of employees in both their work and the workplace. Employee engagement is a foundational component to the workplace outcome. So whatever the business strategy is, employee engagement is fundamental to that. If you want to talk about well-being, manager development, performance, you have to talk about employee engagement. And as shakers and movers in your organization, those of you who are supposed to be on fire, you cannot overlook that component in all of the conversations. Why? Because every conversation a manager has with an employee affects their level of engagement. And engaged employees perform better, we know, which serves to differentiate you, the business, in the marketplace and from your competitors. Employee engagement is clearly the driver behind real change within your teams and the real driver of business metrics that matter. So the tether that I'm hoping to bring for you is that idea in terms of the criticality of employee engagement as represented in the definitions provided by Gallup. Let's talk about what the numbers say. 3 points here. Over 71% of employees are struggling to adapt to remote work. Over 65% employees say maintaining employee morale is a challenge. Over 35% employees are struggling with changes in employee productivity. Here's the big item. Gallup reports that 23% of employees are engaged at work. That means there's a whopping 77% opportunity for the organization to impact employee engagement. Therein lies the opportunity. Why this matters, if we want to talk about the bottom line? Disengaged employees cost employers $63 million per year in a company of 10,000 employees with an average salary of $50,000. Now just look at that opportunity and when you put it in terms of dollars and cents. If you got 77% opportunity and the disengagement, just with that particular basis, this is what it can in fact cost you and may well be costing you as we speak. As taken from this particular discussion from a Harvard Business Review, Denise Young states, culture has become a strategic priority with impact on the bottom line. Now, resident within the culture obviously is your employee position. Resident within the culture is obviously how you get things done. I'm suggesting that the opportunity is such that you can get things done by giving your employee agency. Now, over the past 5 years, and I think that's the reason why I have this invitation to be here with you today, I have, along with a very supportive and productive research team, namely Dr. Susan Salwich Altenhol and Tawanta Tate and Franklin Latte, we have conducted and published over 13 research articles on employee engagement in peer-reviewed journals. Now, as I talk to my colleagues about this, they say, but Randall, this is not appearing in the Harvard Business Review. That's true. We're not there yet. However, most, if you excuse my generalization, peer-reviewed journals actually have the opportunity for you to submit your research and then have peers review the reliability and validity of the items that you're advancing. So what we have been successful in doing is publishing this information in those types of journals. Today's discussion allows me to bring the concept of engagement from a theoretical notion to the practical application and show how to implement it in the organization at the employee level. Now, actionable tools, actionable intelligence. So one of the tools I wish to discuss is this particular item, which we refer to affectionately as Indeed. Indeed is a 9-item instrument used for measuring engagement of remote employees and traditional office workers. Now, we got involved in designing this particular instrument as not as a result of COVID, but prior to COVID. And if you've ever anyone ever been involved in developing an instrument, raise your hand. Anyone? Okay, so you know it is an arduous process. It took us 12 months to get this item out and produced in establishing reliability and validity. And we were focusing on the remote worker. Unfortunately, and I don't cast this as a positive, but COVID came, and so the incidence of remoteness mushroomed, and so the application of it became more applicable and generally desirable. So this particular instrument, and I think there should be a handout for you if you want to take a closer look into the document. If you are true eggheads, you want to take a closer look. It tells you about the validity and reliability. The particularly in the scoring deals with performance and self-reliance, and it's only 9 questions. I did read the white paper that was published by your organization, and they introduced the OCAI instrument, and the OCAI instrument is really an assessment of organizational culture. What I'm talking about here is assessing employee engagement as a construct and giving you the opportunity to take a closer look at remote employees as well as traditional in-office employees in terms of their level of engagement. And so you can see the construct here in terms of how it's designed, such things as authenticity, motivation, expressiveness, recognition, interest, and career planning in terms of performance, and then in terms of self-reliance, autonomy, confidence, and empathy as where the employee may reside. And so you see how those 2 items are then presented as the construct is laid out. We say that, and it brings us to how the Indeed is calculated just for the math, and I don't want to bore you with that, but I wanted to at least give you some explanation of how it evolved in terms of application. And really it's juxtapositioning performance and self-reliance together in order to give you an outcome and a method by which you can assess the engagement of your employees. In order to have acceptance in the research community, you need to apply the particular instrument. So what I'm about to share with you now, apart from the tool, I want to share with you some actionable intelligence. We did 3 studies that I'm sharing with you today. One is the first study is organizational management culture. And note that I said organizational management culture because we did another study on organizational leadership culture. And culture is the operative, and I know that's an interest that you have. The findings there was organizational management culture contributes substantially to employee engagement. That's a no-brainer. We understand that. However, management culture that employs teamwork demonstrated a higher contribution in predicting remote employee engagement. Competition-based management cultures do not significantly contribute to remote employee engagement. This is just a summary of the finding, but I think they're salient ones. What is the recommendation as a result of study 1? By installing and nurturing teamwork in the culture and minimizing competition, managers can effectively create cultures that values and boosts remote employee engagement. That would be the first position. The second study is organizational leadership culture, where we looked at mentoring, was shown to be the highest contributor to employee engagement. Risk-taking and coordinating produced a statistically significant positive contribution to employee engagement, and results-oriented culture was not significantly contributing to employee engagement. So what? The recommendation becomes installing a mentoring-based leadership culture may well produce more engaged employees. Study 3, sponsorship. What is sponsorship, though, here? Sponsorship is when you're supporting someone when they're not present, when they're not absent. So the findings were females seem to be positively more engaged compared to males. Higher education levels tended to generate more engaged employees. Mentorship, as we referred to earlier, have a positive impact on engagement after accounting for gender and education. Sponsorship had the positive impact on engagement after accounting for gender, education, and mentorship. So what is to be learned? Is the red light means I have 2 minutes left? Yes. Okay. What's the recommendation here? Include sponsorship elements in your company's mentoring programs so that employees can be represented within the organization. This would increase the employee's level of engagement, hence their performance in the quest to achieve organizational goals. The Indeed model then comes back together, so it allows you to have a conceptual appreciation of how these studies came about. Actionable tools, actionable intelligence. Successful cultures are ones where leaders know how workers feel and can respond to their needs. The issue is, can we make our organizational transformation employee-centered? Becomes a question. Can we give employee agency? It sounds trite because we've heard this many times, but we tend to get it wrong in the execution. I would like to provide the tips that bring you to those tips and tools that enables the success, such as mentoring, such as sponsorship, such as teamwork. Those are effectively designed and identified constructs and items that you can manipulate and assess in your organization to improve employee engagement. All right, let's see where I'm at. Okay, I almost got to the right spot. Okay, so I'm supposed to be gracious and I'm supposed to say thank you.